We are going to learn about the simple queries in SQL. The topics that we are going to cover in this video are Introduction, some MySQL Elements, SQL Command Syntax, Sample Database, Marking, Simple Queries, MySQL Functions, Aggregate Functions. These are the few topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. So first let me introduce SQL. Structured Query Language was developed in 1970s in an IBM laboratory. SQL, sometimes also referred to as SQL, is a fourth generation non-procedural language. The non-procedural language just need to be specified what for the problem. That is, in non-procedural language, what is required is specified, in contrast to third generation, how it is to be done. Since SQL is non-procedural, and that is what makes it simple, it makes an RDBMS possible. SQL, being non-procedural, describes what all data is to be retrieved or inserted or modified or deleted, rather than specifying code describing how to perform the entire operation. So you understood that it don't focus on how, but it focus on what. How it will be done was not the emphasizing point in SQL, but what is to be done was the main focus of SQL. SQL enables the following: first, creating, modifying a database structure; second, changing security setting for system; third, permitting users for working non-database or tables; fourth, querying tables or databases; fifth, inserting, modifying, deleting the database contents. In this chapter is described and dedicated to making simple queries. But before that, let us talk about important elements of SQL. So first element that we will take is literal, then data type, then nulls, then comments. The MySQL implementation of SQL has certain elements that play an important role in defining, querying a database. In this section, we shall talk about some basic elements of MySQL that you must be aware of. These basic elements are literal, data types, nulls, comments. Literals in general refer to a fixed data value. This fixed data value may be of character type or numeric literal. For example, Cynthia, Ekagra, Raunak Raj Singh 8th and 305 are all character text literals. Notice that all character literals are enclosed in single quotation marks or marks. Characters that are not enclosed in quotation marks refers to a schema object names. Example, value refers to schema object, whereas value in single inverted refers to a character literal. To store an apostrophe in a text literal, you should use /apostrophe. This \apostrophe followed. Example, to store khush, here S is having a apostrophe beforehand. In a text literal, you should write it as \apostrophe. So this backslash is for apostrophe, and this thing we are including in a single inverted comma. The numbers that are not enclosed in quotation marks are numeric literals. Example 22, 18, 19, 97, 2003 are all numeric literals. Numeric literals can either be integer literal, that is without any decimal, or real literal, that is with a decimal point. Example 17 is an integer, but the literal 17.0 and 17.5 are real literals. Note, a numeric literal can store a maximum of 53 digits of precision. Data types. Data types are means to identify the type of data and associated operations for handling it. A value data type associated a fixed set of properties with the value. These properties cause different treatment of data types. For example, you can add values of number data types, but you cannot add values of character or varchar types. Internal data types supported by MySQL include the ones given here. MySQL uses many different data types, divided into 3 different categories shown here: numeric, date and time, and string type. Numeric data type. There are various different types of numeric data. The first numeric data type is int, a normal size integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -2147483648 to positive 2147483647. 0 is included in between. If unsigned, the allowable range will become just double and is from 0 to 4294967295. You can specify a width up to 11 digits. Second type of numeric data type is tiny int, a very small integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -128 to 127. If signed, the allowable range is from 0 to 255, just double of the previous. You can specify a width up to 4 digits. The next type is small int, a small integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -32768 to +32767. 0 is also included. If unsigned, the allowable range is from 0 to 65535. You can specify a width up to 5 digits. Next type of data type is medium int, a medium size integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from 8388608 to 8388607 positive. If unsigned, the range is from 0 to 167777215. You can specify a width up to 9 digits. And the next type of numeric data type is big int, a large integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -922333720368547758082 to positive 922337036854775807807. If you unsigned, the allowable range just become double from 0 to 18446744073709551615. You can specify the width up to 11 digits. Next type is float md, a a floating point number that cannot be unsigned. You can define display length m and the number of decimals d. This is not required and will default to 10,2, where 2 is the number of decimals and 10 is the total number of digits including decimal. Decimal precision can go up to 24 places for a float. Next type of data type is double MD, a double precision floating point number that can be signed. You can define the display length m and the number of decimals d. This is not required and will default to 16,4, where 4 is the number of decimals. Decimal precision can go up to 53 places for a double. Real is synonym for double. Next type of data type is decimal MD, a unpacked floating point number that cannot be unsigned. In unpacked decimal, each decimal corresponds to 1 byte, defining the display length m and the number of decimals d is required. Numeric is a synonym for decimal. Another type of data type, date and time type. The MySQL date and time types are: date. A date is YYYYMMDD format between 1001 to 9999/12/31. For example, December 1973 would be stored as 1973/12/30. Next type of date time type is date time. A date time combination of YYYY, MMDD, HHMMSS format between 1001 000000 and 9999/12/31 23:59:59. For example, 3:30 in the afternoon on December 30th, 1973 would be stored as 1973/12/30 15:30:00. Next is timestamp. Timestamp between midnight January 1970 and sometimes in 2038. It looks like previous date time format, only without the hyphens between the numbers. 3:30 in the afternoon on December 30th, 1973 would be stored as 1973/12/30 15:30:00. That is YYYYMMDD HHMMSS. Next is year. Stores a year in 2-digit or 4-digit format. If the length is specified as 2, for example year 2, the year can be 1972 2069 and represented as 7269. If the length is specified as 4, the year can be 1912 2155. The default length is 4. Next is time. Stores the time in hour, minute, second format. Next type that we are going to discuss is string text types. The most data that we use in a database is in string format. This list describes the common string data types in MySQL. Char is the first string text type, a fixed length string between 1 and 255 characters in length. For example, char 5. Write padded with space to the specified length when stored. Defining a length is not required, but the default is 1. Varchar is another string text type, a variable length string between 1 and 255 characters. in length. For example, varchar 25. You must define a length when creating a varchar field. Difference between char and varchar data types. In order to understand the difference between char and varchar data types, one must clear about fixed length and variable length fields. A field is a data element which can store one type of information, which is composed of characters. The number of characters that a field can store is called field length or field width. As each character requires 1 byte for its storage, the number of characters inside a field determine its field width in bytes, as those many bytes the field requires for its storage. There can be fixed length fields as well as variable length fields. A fixed length fields have fixed length, that is, they occupy fixed number of bytes for every data element they store. This number of bytes are determined by maximum number of characters the field can store. Not necessarily all data elements inside a field are of some length, but the field length is determined by determining the maximum possible characters in a data element. In fixed length fields, some space is always wasted, as all data elements don't use all the space reserved, but processing is much simpler in case of fixed length fields. Variable length fields have varied field length, that is, field length is determined separately for every data element inside the field. The number of characters in the data elements become its field length. Let us consider a field student name is having data elements Sunila Raj, Shalu, Urbans. For the first data element, Sunila Raj field length is 10 bytes, 1 byte for space also, as it is also a character, and for Shalu Harbans it is 13 bytes. In variable length fields, there is no wastage of space, but processing is complex in case of variable length fields. The difference between char and varchar is that of fixed length and variable length. The char data type specifies a fixed length character string. When a column is given data type as char n, then MySQL ensures that all values stored in that column have this length, that is n bytes. If a value is shorter than this length n, then blanks are added, but the size of value remains n bytes only. Varchar, on the other hand, specifies a variable length string. When a column is given data type as varchar n, then the maximum size and value in this column can have is n bytes. Each value that is stored in this column stores exactly as you specify it. That is, no blanks are added if the length is shorter than the maximum length n. However, if you exceed the maximum length n, then an error message is displayed. Null values, another data type. If a column in a row has no value, then the column is said to be null or to contain a null. Null can appear in column for any data type provided there are not restricted by not null or primary key integrity constraint. You should use a null value when the actual value is not known or when the value would not be meaningful. One thing that you should make sure is not to use null to represent a value of 0 because they are not equivalent. Any arithmetic expression containing a null always evaluates to null. For example, null added to 10 is null. In fact, all operator except concatenation returns null when given a null operand. The last topic here in this video that we are going to see is comments. A comment is a text that is not executed. It is only for documentation purpose. A comment generally describes the statement's purpose within an application. A comment can appear between any keywords, parameters, or punctuation mark in a statement. You can include a comment in a statement using either of these means. Here are 3 different ways of writing a comment. Begin the comment with /*, proceed with the text of the comment. This text can span multiple lines. End the comment with */. The opening and terminating characters need not to be separated from the text by space or a line break. Second way, beginning a comment with dash followed by space, preceded with the text of the comment. This text cannot be extended to new line. End the comment with a line break. And third type is also similar to the previous one, beginning comment with hash, proceeds with the text of the comment. This text cannot be extended to a new line. End the comment with line break. Hope you understood a lot from this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Keep on learning, keep on watching. Subscribe this channel so that when the new video is uploaded, you will get informed. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next video.